I'm sure you've seen tons of videos about how much Bitcoin you need to reach financial freedom. But I'm here today to tell you that I have something different in mind. Something very different in mind. I want to break down exactly how much Bitcoin you need to change your life forever and why that number might be a lot more attainable than you think.
That's right.
I'm Oshins. This is Beyond Bitcoin. Stick around to the end of this video, hit that like button, and let's dive in. You ever look in the mirror and wonder if you're playing a role? Like you've been cast in a version of yourself that you never auditioned for? You do the job, you say the lines, you collect a paycheck. But underneath all of that, who are you really? That's not just a personal crisis. That's your ego talking.
To me, ego is the self needing to matter. When you look at a photo of you and your friends, you'll focus on yourself first.
Like a social human setting.
Exactly. Do I matter? And so our attention is on us inside our mind. All these people all around us all the time that are all inside their own mind. Right. We're inside our own mind, and we think about ourselves 99% of the time, telling ourselves these stories, telling us how do we show up, how do we gain more attention. Right. Did what I say on this podcast matter? Did those people? Am I getting more views? And it's so. And we lose ourselves in that.
Yes.
Ego is your mental self-image. It's the identity you've built, your job, your status, your opinions, your stuff. It's who you think you are. And most of the time, you're not even aware of it. It's that inner voice that says, I need to prove myself. Or, what will people think if I look this way? The ego wants control, recognition, and safety. Wait a minute, Oshins. I thought this was a Bitcoin show. Let me just tie in how ego relates to Bitcoin. And that question about how much Bitcoin you need to change your life. And that's through fiat. That's the connection. Fiat. What is fiat? That word that just keeps surfacing into the lexicon of social discourse. Fun fact, did you know that in October of 2022, the topic of fiat shot up like the Fed's balance sheet on Google Trends? Briefly, fiat is a term that comes from Latin that translates to let it be done or it shall be. When we are speaking about fiat money, we are talking about currency that is issued and secured by the government. So fiat, in essence, is by decree, meaning some authority, not you, is giving an order.
It's your primary action items.
And when you put this into the context of money, it means that the government is giving an order that this currency shall be money. It's that simple. So how on earth does this relate to the ego?
This quote that few realize their opinion of the world is also a confession of their character.
Yeah.
So when I'm out here like talking about the evil, the malevolence of statism, like I have good intentions, I think, in my heart. Be like, hey guys, here's the truth of what's going on. Like, let's do something about it. But maybe there's some confession of character that's coming out of that too, like things I haven't dealt with. But going into Bitcoin, this has all been like part of that Bitcoin journey. It's like you see yourself differently over time, and you're like, hopefully spiraling upward.
That's the ego death.
Yeah,
right. That is what's that is when it ends, because it forces you to come to these conclusions. But when I see people in the world, everyone I see, I literally see them walking around with a sign on their forehead. The sign on their forehead, everyone else can read what's stopping them from success. And because we can easily see what's stopping, like in a 2-minute conversation, we can see what's stopping somebody else from success. They don't see the world like you see the world, and they're reinforcing that worldview, but they believe it. And it's not just one archetype, but just let's say the victim. Right? The victim walks around wanting love, attention, or belonging, right? And what do? They try to get belonging by being a victim. And the first time it works, and everybody says you matter. And that drug, that dopamine rush to I matter, that attention, that I make a difference, they use the tool to try to create it. And that then more and more people move away. And then they're left isolated. They're pushing the very thing that was all around them everywhere. Love was all around them all the time. And they're pushing it away, and then they typically double down because they really believe in their version it's true because everybody's moving away and they don't have that belonging anymore. And they are living in a manifestation of their reality that they created 100%.
Well, as we've established, the ego is that inner voice that tells you what is and what is not acceptable in a social setting. The ego is that voice that tells you how to dress and act.
Is that what a man looks like?
And like fiat money, it is literally the voice of top-down authority. You see where I'm going with this. So now that we see the connection between fiat and ego, are there parallels that we can draw between Bitcoin and ego death? Maybe. Let's find out after this. When the world gets unpredictable, your survival should not depend on fragile systems. Duh. Sat123.com exists for people who think ahead. For people who know that freedom isn't just financial. It's physical, it's logistical, and it's communicational. Is communicational a word? Power grid goes down or cell towers are offline. Most people go dark. But with Sat123, you don't. They've got satellite phones that bypass local infrastructure, Faraday bags to protect your gear from EMP shocks or solar flares. We don't make these choices out of fear. We make them out of sovereignty in a world that's proving more and more that it can't be trusted. Go to sat123.com and use promo code SIMPLY for 15% off your entire purchase. It's pretty good because freedom starts before the crisis.
You're able to gain closer proximity to truth through those relationships, right? Because you have people that will call you on your own bullshit and you'll do it for them. And together you can accomplish more than you could alone, something like that. So love and truth seem really closely.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why.
And I could easily delude myself too.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly on the awareness. And these people around me, I ask them to hold me that I don't let it go to my head. I'm not bigger, let's say in Bitcoin. I'm one voice in this. And when people say we are all Satoshi, that's how I think.
Yes.
I do not think I am any better, any worse, anything else than anybody in this ecosystem.
One node in the network.
One node in the network.
Yeah.
Just one node in the network that brings this abundance, truth to society.
Yeah.
And so I'm very happy to be a node.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be able to be a node with all of those other people. And I love that's the world that's being created.
Ego death is the experience of losing the sense of a fixed self. It's a breakdown of the mental identity you constructed, your roles, beliefs, preferences, and the story you tell yourself about who you are. In moments of ego death, that structure dissolves, often leading to a sense of vastness, disorientation, or clarity even.
Tomorrow will be the most beautiful day of Raymond Castle's life.
You're no longer observing life from behind the mask. You're just aware without the filter of me. Now let me tie this into Bitcoin. Somehow. No matter what end of the maxi spectrum you're on, we all know that Bitcoin carries with it a fundamental truth. It exposes the infinite supply fallacy of fiat money printing with its simple 21 million cap. It exposes the fallacy of human-managed ledgers through the immutable chain of transactions. It exposes the fallacy of the gated transactions of our current banking system through its global instant settlement mechanism. It exposes a lot. Basically, Bitcoin is truth. It exposes fallacies. And you can think about this truth as a kind of destruction of the status quo, the stock image that is the social construct. As we know, a stock image is not reality. It is a representation of reality, a cleaner, more well-lit reality. In essence, the stock image, status quo, or social construct is the ego. And by that logic, Bitcoin would be the ego death. I'm just trying to thread the needle here. Come on. So after all this, let's go back to that original question. How much Bitcoin do you need to change your life? And the answer is, well, as much as it takes for you to understand that the current system, the ego, is a flawed representation of reality, and that Bitcoin is the ultimate revelation of that, the ego death.
That's right.
Hope you enjoyed this content, but real quick, if you've started to question the system you're living in, you're not alone. But it's not enough to see the lie. You have to build the alternative. Sazmining lets you mine real Bitcoin on your terms. No trading, no middlemen, no noise. Just proof of work, straight to your wallet. They host and operate your mining rigs using 100% renewable hydro, so you're stacking sovereign sats with clean energy without lifting a wrench. This isn't passive income. It's an active exit from fiat, from dependence, and from the lie. Book a call with one of their expert team members at sazmining.com and mine your way out of this junky system today. I'm Oshins. This is Beyond Bitcoin. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content and you want to support the channel, you can hit that like button below, or you can even subscribe to the Simply Bitcoin channel. We're coming out with content like this every single day of the week. You can hit also that notification bell. Don't forget. Other than that, you met me at a very strange time in my life. See ya.